Good morning, guys. So, many of you have been asking for a what I eat in a day. So, I thought I would do a sort of combination what I eat in a day in the life, that kind of thing. As you can see, I'm in my workout gear. Nothing better than a wig cap, a wig hat combo for when you have when you're not going to see them. My roots are grown out like that much. I have to dye my hair. So you know what? I can just pop on this hat. Looks like I have fabulous hair, and here we go. So this will be my second day back in the gym. I was gonna go yesterday, and two reasons why I didn't go. One, I was very sore. And two, I knew I wasn't going to be cooking last night because I had cooked the night before and we had a ton of leftovers. And so I really kind of wanted to be able to show you like cooking kind of stuff. And you'll see me eat a factor meal today because I'll have one of those for lunch. And then I will make one of our home chef meals that we also got this week. But that's like a cooking thing. And I'm also going to show you my favorite new apple dip, which I have to say is completely stolen from Mindy at Mindy Peterson. I will have her channel linked below. I'll have the actual video where she showed how to make it. It's fantastic. So she makes it like one serving at a time. I make like 3 servings at a time because I don't use a whole serving either, but high protein, amazing, love it. It's great sweet snack to have, like as a dessert kind of thing. So we'll probably make that maybe around lunchtime, so you can see how I make that and then I'll eat it later. But anyway, I'm gonna be doing an upper body workout today. I'm gonna be trying a new video on YouTube that somebody, I don't remember who, but somebody I was watching mentioned this creator, and so I subscribed to her channel. I've never done her workouts yet. I mean, she looks amazing, but obviously I haven't done her workouts yet because this is basically my first week back in the gym. So excited to try one of those. And then I am going to be doing a new online program that I'll talk to you guys about soon. I've put off starting it though because of my surgery, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, let me get my water bottle. Let me get something to put you guys on when we're down in the gym, and let's go work out. Okay, I'm going to try to do this. I might have to do a voiceover because David's on a call right now, and I'm hoping that my microphone is picking just me up and not him. But anyway, I'm going to show you how I do my coffee because I know a lot of you have asked, even though I've showed it before, but I'm going to show you again. So I'm going to start with making a double shot of espresso in my espresso machine. I use this Skinny Mixes caramel syrup. I also use this Smucker's caramel syrup as well. I don't use the sugar-free one because literally it's like 10 calories different, so who cares? Then I use a caramel protein from Premier Protein, and then I take a little of the vanilla and I froth it, make it cold foam. You'll see what I mean when I do it, but those are the ingredients. Cheers. Best part of my day, not joking. All right, well, like I said, sorry about that. David was, actually he was like on a conference call and he was on a customer service call, like holding for customer service and talking back and forth. But hopefully that helps you guys. I have been drinking this since I think around May or so of 2020. So a really long time, almost 5 years. That's crazy. I know that the Premier Protein doesn't have like the cleanest ingredients in the world, but you know what? I like it. It gets me 30 grams of protein, and that's all I have to say about that. All right, I'm going to jump in the shower, get ready for the rest of my day, start getting some work done. I've got to be on a call in about another hour or so, so I will catch you guys when it's time for lunch. All right, so it is time for lunch. I am just finishing my protein coffee. Not much left in there. And as I mentioned on a prior video, I have decided to try Factor. Not sponsored. They have no idea who I am. I just thought it would be a good idea to try to do this to get more protein in, to try to get lunch in more frequently, which is something that I tend to skip. And yeah, so I've had it 2 times already this week. I had a chicken one yesterday. It was kind of like a chicken Florentine. So it had kind of a cream sauce with the spinach in it. And then there was some like steamed cauliflower, like cut up cauliflower with some, I think, chili spice on something. I don't know. It was very yummy. And then on Monday, I had like a pork chop something. So lots of protein. I think like yesterday's was 45 grams. Now I'll be perfectly honest, I was not able to finish the meal, but I got through probably I would say 3/4 of the chicken breast. So, you know, maybe I had more like 37 grams or something like that. Definitely, I mean, I certainly hit at least 30. So that was great. And the same with the pork chop. So let me go take a look. Let me grab the ones I have and we'll decide what we're gonna have today. All right, so I have 4 left because I think the least you can do is 6 meals. So I have a herbed ricotta and beef ragu with roasted Parmesan walnuts and zucchini noodles. And this is 30 grams of protein and 630 calories. And then the other 3 that I have left are shredded chicken and pesto creamed spinach tortellini with roasted tomatoes, garlic butter, zucchini, peppers, and onions. And this is 520 calories with 30 grams of protein. This is beef bolognese and mushroom lasagnette. This is 450 calories and 21 grams of protein, so that's the least amount. And this one is tomato basil chicken and mashed potatoes. And this is 410 calories with 35 grams of protein. Well, since I just had chicken yesterday, I don't think I want to do that. So, and I think I want more than 21 grams of protein, so I think we're going to skip the beef bolognese for right now. And this had 30 and the other one had 30. This is also chicken. So you know what? I'm going to do the first one, which was the herbed ricotta and beef ragu with roasted Parmesan walnuts and zucchini noodles. So this one is, I think, the highest in calories at 630, but it has 30 grams of protein. So let's do this one. Okay, so I got you tilted down here so you can see this is what they look like, and you just take it out of the sleeve, and then this is what the meal looks like. They are never frozen, they come just refrigerated. And the instructions are on the back here, and you've got all of the nutritional information. So this one says, remove outer packaging and pierce film in center of bento 1 time with a fork. And then we're gonna place this in the microwave with the large compartment touching the outer edge of the microwave disc. So that's been the instructions on all of them so far, meaning the outer part or the larger part. So basically you want it so that, you know, if this is the edge of the plate, you want this here as opposed to this being in the middle. I don't know what that does, but let me grab a fork. All right, so I'm going to poke that. Did I get all through? Yes, I did. So we're gonna put this in the microwave for, it says, 2 minutes. I'll be back. Okay, so I just took it out. We are supposed to peel this back, stir everything, and then put the film back, and then put it back in the microwave for some amount of time that I will look at. But yeah, so I'm just pulling this back. So you guys can kind of see what it looks like there. So we're just gonna give this a little stir. And on this side, assuming I'm supposed to mix this, the cheese, whatever that was, what was that? The herb ricotta. I'm assuming I'm supposed to mix that in with the ragu. All right, so that is all nicely mixed. And I'm going to replace the film as best I can, and we're going to put it back in the exact same way with the large bento on the outside, and we're going to heat it for 1 minute. Okay, so I figured I would talk to you for a second while it is going for the last minute, and then after it's done, you are supposed to let it stand for 2 minutes, carefully remove film, transfer contents to a plate, and enjoy. So we will do that in a minute. I just filled up my water bottle for the second time, so I generally tend to drink a whole one of these while I'm working out, and then I have my protein coffee, and that's actually going to be part of my challenge, which actually I am filming today and hope to get up for you guys today so that you have plenty of time if you would like to do a challenge with me for the month of April. But you guys will actually probably see this after you see that video, so I guess I'll just tell you here because you will already know what it is. But one of the things that I want to make as a part of my challenge is that I have to drink one of these before I have my protein coffee. So when I did 75 hard, it requires you to have, what is it, a gallon, I think, of water, so 100 and whatever, how many ounces that is. It's essentially like 4 of these. I would make sure that I got at least 1, maybe even 2 before I had my protein coffee. Now, that wasn't my favorite thing in the whole wide world because I love my protein coffee. That's one of the things I didn't love about 75 hard, was I wasn't having my protein coffee until, like much later in the afternoon, which isn't necessarily bad because it is kind of a nice sort of afternoon pick-me-up, because it's a little sweet and obviously it's got the caffeine, etc. But I really want to focus on water, which I generally do a pretty good job of, but I'm tending now to kind of drink a lot of it at night. Like I probably drink 2 of these at night, which then of course has me going to the bathroom multiple times in the middle of the night. So I'm hoping that if I try to shift some of my water drinking to earlier in the day, 1, I might get in more water, but 2, maybe I won't have to go to the bathroom as much. So anyway, so I've had 1 of these already. This is going to be number 2. My goal is to essentially get 3 of these. So, around 90 to 100 ounces ish of water a day. So that's going to be part of the challenge as well. And obviously you will have seen the other parts of the challenge, but that's kind of one of the things that I would like to implement to get back into some of the habits and sort of, I guess, kind of force some of the habits to come back. I don't know, maybe that's not the right word, but anyway. All right, let me pause this so I can get this out of the microwave and I will plate it and show you what it looks like. All right, so this is what it looks like. I'm kind of mix the noodles up in here. And unfortunately, because David needs to get back to his desk, I kind of kicked him out so that I could film this part. I will probably go eat this at my desk. It looks very yummy. All right, bon appetit. This is really good. I mean, I realize I've only had 3 out of the 6 now, so 50%. But right now, I would say they are 3 for 3. Really good flavor. Doesn't taste like a frozen meal. I mean, which it's not a frozen meal, obviously, but it doesn't taste like a lean cuisine. I mean, it really kind of tastes restaurant quality. Now, I did do the math, and I want to say I think it broke down to like $13 a meal maybe, which does seem like a lot, but to be very honest, if I was going out for lunch in New York, it would be way more than $13. Typically when I go out, and I'm not getting anything fancy, I'm not getting any alcohol or anything like that, I'm easily spending probably $25 minimum for lunch in New York. Now that includes tip, obviously, but generally, even if you're going somewhere that has like kind of a lunch special kind of thing, it's at least at $19, $20, something like that. So is it the best value on the planet? No. Certainly if you cook or do other things, but for me, who's really having a challenge getting lunch in. And, maybe doing this for a few weeks will spur me on to making, more meals myself. But I don't know. We'll have to see. But I'm going to go finish my lunch so it doesn't get cold. And I will check in probably when I start making dinner, or if I have time, I will show you how I make that dip. Maybe I'll do that like late afternoon, before I even start cooking, because it's really good. All right, so we are going to make this peanut butter dip that I saw on Mindy Peterson's channel. She was doing like viral TikTok recipes, but making them higher protein. And I love it. I will have her video, like I said, linked below in the description box. So make sure you go check out Mindy and subscribe to her channel if you aren't already, but I'm sure you probably all are because Mindy is fantastic. So what you need for this recipe, according to Mindy's recipe, I'm gonna change it up just a slight bit, but you need some peanut butter, you need vanilla Greek yogurt, you need peanut butter powder, like PB Fit. I use the Walmart Great Value brand, and you need some protein powder. Now, you also need some water. Instead of water, I think that I'm gonna use some Fairlife milk, because that also will bump up the protein a little bit. And then I also may add some sugar-free syrup. We'll see about that. I used to make a peanut butter dip years ago, like in 2020, 2021, that I would eat with apples, and that's what I eat this with. And I would use the PB Fit almond milk, the sugar-free syrup, and a little bit of caramel syrup, like that sugar-free caramel syrup, and I would mix that all together. So it was kind of like a caramel apple kind of peanut butter dip. But this definitely has more protein in it, especially because it's got the Greek yogurt in it. So I thought, since I used to use the sugar-free syrup in that recipe, I thought, well, maybe we'll try it, but we'll see how it goes. The other thing that you really want, especially with these things, and because Mindy put a lot of her things in grams, if you don't have a food scale, you really should invest in one. I'm pretty sure I have one linked in the description box. I don't think they make this exact one anymore, but I linked to something from Amazon that is similar, but it's really helpful, especially when you're weighing food, and it's a lot easier to weigh it sometimes than measure it, especially, for example, like when it comes to peanut butter, because you get out of a tablespoon of peanut butter, but then you can't get it all out of the tablespoon, you know what I mean? It's just easier to measure it. So I'm gonna put this on the scale so that when I turn it on, it will be already 0, because it thinks whatever, it doesn't think that there's anything on here, if that makes sense. If I turned it on and then put the bowl on it, then I need to zero out the scale, or on some scales it says tare, T-A-R-E, or I don't know if it's Terry, that's how you pronounce it, but anyway. All right, well, this is set to pounds and ounces, so I'm going to change the unit to grams. So I have it written down here because normally I just look at her video when I'm making it. And I'm going to triple the recipe. I think Mindy just makes one thing at a time, because I think she eats the whole amount, or at least that's what she sort of implied. I could be wrong though. So anyway, I'm gonna triple it. This will probably last me for, I don't know, 8 apples or something like that. Generally, if I eat 1 apple a day kind of thing. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. All right, so that means I'm gonna need 3 tablespoons of peanut butter, and a tablespoon of peanut butter is 16 grams, which means 3 would be 48, if I did that math correctly. Okay. And it doesn't have to be exact, guys, okay? Like, that's 51, so it's obviously a little more than I needed, and then I certainly don't need what's on here, so I'm gonna kind of get that off and lick my finger because it's peanut butter. And that's what you do with peanut butter. Okay, so we need, it calls for 2 tablespoons, which means I'm tripling it. I need 6, and 2 tablespoons is 12 grams, so I need 36 grams of, actually, you know, before I do this, I'm going to stick this in the microwave for a second, just to make it a little more runny, you know, a little kind of melted. Kind of check it every 10, 15 seconds here. Just trying to soften it up so that when I mix it, it'll make it easier for it to combine. Okay, that's good. So it's not all melted, but it's pretty melted. Okay, so then you want to zero out your scale, right? Because it was weighing for the peanut butter. So now I need to, what did I say? 36 grams of this. Oh, that sort of came up fast, but actually that was 31. 37. That's good enough. Since I had a little more peanut butter, we have a little extra peanut butter powder. All right. And then Mindy says 45 grams of vanilla Greek yogurt. So essentially 100 and, what is that, 135? If I'm tripling it. So I'm gonna zero that out again. And then 8 grams of protein powder. Now you can use whatever flavor you want. I actually happen to have peanut butter. I think Mindy used chocolate when she did hers, so she had like a peanut butter chocolate dip. I don't really know that I'd want to dip an apple in. I don't know. Maybe I'll try that one day. I just happen to have the peanut butter, so I like it. So, okay. Whoops. Hit the wrong button. Okay, zero that out again. So she said 8 grams of protein powder. So that means I need 24 grams. 25, again. We're a little over on everything else, so it's all good. This is not an exact science. You just kind of make it to taste. Okay, then she also calls for a pinch of salt, so I will do a larger pinch of salt. All right, and then, like I said, I'm going to start mixing this, and then we're gonna add some liquid, because you don't want it quite this. You've got a lot of powder in here. Okay, so I changed the angle here so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Just gonna start incorporating this, and as you can see, it's definitely gonna need some liquid. So I am gonna try a little bit of the syrup, so I'm gonna add that now. That'll be some of our liquid, and then I'm going to take the Fairlife. Now I should actually get my scale back out so I can actually see how much I'm adding. So I can add that to the recipe and kind of, so I can tell you guys, you know, how much is in here. Okay, so this is in milliliters. So let me change this to milliliters. Okay. It's 21 milliliters. Turn off. Probably gonna need a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna add a little more. Okay, that was another 19. So now we've added 40 milliliters of milk. I think I'm gonna add a little more milk, just a touch. maybe. That was 12. Miley was trying to do 10, but. So now we've got 52 milliliters. So this is what it looks like when it is all done. I will put up on the screen here what the total calorie amount is for the whole thing. You know, like I said, I just kind of eyeball it. I mean, I'll literally just take this with my apple and go sit on the couch or whatever and dip my apple in it. And then when I'm done, I'll go put the lid back on and put it back in the refrigerator. So I'm gonna put the lid on this, put it in the refrigerator so it is ready when I wanna eat my apple tonight. And yeah, so that's a really good protein-packed way to get a sweet treat. All right, so it is time to start dinner. Grab the water. So, as I mentioned, I started a new meal service thing. So, you know, like this is Home Chef. We've done HelloFresh before. We've done Easy Plate, I think is what it's called, which is what I like to say sort of the stepsister of HelloFresh. It's definitely more budget and you can tell. So what I love about this, and if I remember correctly, HelloFresh was the same way, is it all comes individualized. So this is everything you need to make this meal. Now, obviously, I have 2 bags of these because I ordered for 4, not knowing that my son, Nick, was not going to be here this month. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So this is a meal for 4, so I have 2 of these bags, and then they give you these sheets. So that is what we're making tonight. It is tangy barbecue pork flautas with cheddar and corn, and it's got all the ingredients in here, and then it's got the step-by-step instructions on the back. And what I also like is they've already pre-punched the holes in this, so I can put it in the binder that I keep, as opposed to all my Easy Plate ones that don't have holes that I need to put holes in. So anyway, the first thing I need to do is basically do a little bit of prep, which is slicing some onions and dealing with the pork. So I'll tip this down. I'll show you a little bit of me cutting an onion. It's really not that exciting, but that's what I need to do first. And don't come for me for my knife skills. I'm not a chef. All right, so we're just slicing these in thin slices. All right, I think you've seen enough onion chopping. I'm gonna chop the other one and then I'll come back. Okay, so this is the pork. I've got 2 of them, and it says I need to pat the sliced pork dry and then coarsely chop, then separate pieces. So let me find something to put these onions in, and then I will start on the pork. Okay, so I just patted down the pork. I'm gonna chop it now, and I just wanted to say one thing. The other thing I like about this little bag thing is you can use this to put your trash in, which I very much appreciate. So, all right, let me tip you down, and so it said to coarsely chop. Okay, well that's easier said than done here. Okay, I have washed my hands again after handling that raw meat, and I have a non-stick pan. We're gonna turn this to medium-high heat. And 1 teaspoon of olive oil. I have to double everything that's on here because, like I said, this is a recipe for a serving size of 2, so since I have a serving size of 4, that heat up for a minute, and then we are going to add our onions. And start cooking those. A lot of onion. Says to cook these until slightly tender, 2 to 4 minutes, because then we're going to add the pork to it and continue cooking it. So I'm gonna let you guys go for a second and I'll come back when I add the pork. Next up, we're going to add the pork, the Fiesta seasoning, which there are 2 of, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, so a 1/2 teaspoon of each. And you know, I don't measure those things, I just use your heart. So that is what the pork looks like, all coarsely chopped and separated. Stir to start, and then salt and pepper. All right, we are going to stir occasionally until browned and pork reaches a minimum internal temperature of 145 degrees, about 5 to 7 minutes. Next, we're going to add the corn and the barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce. And then we're just going to stir this all together until it's basically heated through, and then we're going to take it off the heat. Next, it says to move this into a mixing bowl. And have to rinse this out to use it next. So there, and then to this we are going to add the cheese. 2 things of cheese. And we're going to stir this together, and then it says to let it rest for 3 minutes. So while I let it rest, I will clean out that pan, and then we will fill the tortillas, I think, yes, and then cook the outsides of those, because this part's already cooked. All right, we're gonna let that sit, and I'll be back when we're assembling. All right, so next is to fill the tortillas and make them into little flautas. And then we're going to cook those in the frying pan. All right, so I kind of divided this mixture in half in the bowl, so I know sort of how much I have for each of the 6 tortillas. I have no idea. You know, I think we're gonna do it this way. So I get them filled kind of all similarly. Now that we have that, we are going to start rolling like so. Okay, so I definitely have some leftover filling, which is fine. I will just put that in a, storage container, and, somebody can eat that with a salad or whatever. And I also have extra because they shorted us 1 tortilla. Oh well, it's fine. We have plenty. All right, so I'm heating up some oil in here, and then it says working in batches. Place flautas in hot pan, seam side down. There should be no overlap. Cook until browned on one side, 2 to 3 minutes, and then flip them and do that again. So just get my fork to do this. We're gonna let these cook for another minute or so on this side, and then I'll start the second batch. So here's what they look like, all done, and we are going to sit down to dinner. Bon appetit! All right, so here is the little apple snack. So there's my apple ketchup and the peanut butter dip that we made earlier. So I'm very excited about this. It tastes so good and it's sweet and very satisfying. So I think that's gonna wrap up my what I eat in a day in the life, however you wanna term it. I hope you enjoyed it. And I really had fun doing it, and it held me accountable too. So thank you for those of you who requested this video. I do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. And remember, kindness and hate spread the same. The choice is yours. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.